Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about something interesting in 1/48 scale. So this is a King Tiger model, and as you can see, it is coming from the Ustar manufacturer, and as you can see, it is created together with the Tacom. So it's quite an interesting release because we get, first of all, it's a kit in 1/48 scale, and second, we get it with the full interior as it's written here, and also it's a version with a Krupp flat front production turret, so you can see it here on the box art, and in my opinion this is the most suitable turret for the King Tiger, so feel free to write in the comment section if you think otherwise, but we will be talking about this particular type. And well, the box size, I would say, is surprising for such small model, so that's why I decided to get it and check closer what is actually supplied inside. And of course that's the final shape of this kit, so I bought it with your help, with help of your donations, and here I should remind you that you can support us with these donations, and that's what actually is happening with help of your small help or big help, whatever you prefer, but of course it's a big thank you as well. So first of all, as I said, the box size, here you can see comparison with my hand, we have really beautiful box art here, and then on the side here you'll find 3 marking options which are included into this kit. I would say it's a classic German camouflages, so you won't be surprised with anything unusual. And then on the other side we have also the pictures of the stuff which is included inside, so we have the pictures of the interior, we also have the pictures of the Turrett decals, so they are also included, which is really great because you won't have to deal with it with your own hands and tools. So that's the top opening box, and you can see what we actually get inside. It's literally filled with the sprues, so we will be checking them one by one. And from what I see, again, right away on the first sprue, I have to say that this is a more or less typical sprue design for Tacom, so maybe that's why it was created with Tacom. Maybe it was even produced in Tacom and then issued as a Ustar kit. So here we start with the first sprue, and I will zoom in so that you can see what we will be talking about. And straight away here we get a lot of thin parts. These are mainly Pioneer tools which are molded together with the clamps. We also get the towing cables, we get this nice exhaust shrouds, and also we have the mud guards here. I think it might be worth zooming in even closer so that you can see all of this stuff in a bit more detailed way. And molding quality looks fine, so some of the parts, as I said, are really tiny. Here you can see comparison with my hand, but I guess it was necessary to mold them this way because otherwise you are not able to copy them in a pre-molded fashion, let's say. And also there are no P parts included here, so that's why manufacturer had to resort to such option, and I'm not against such design because it still has a place to be, and I think in 1/48 scale it should be alright. In 1/35 scale it might be questionable because the size already gets way bigger, but here we get relatively small model, even though I think King Tiger in 1/48 scale still will take considerable place on your table and also on your shelf. Next we continue with another plastic sprue. So this one is interesting because here we get the turret parts. As you can see, the main barrel is molded as a single piece part, which is really great. We also get the ammo stowage, which is molded as a single piece parts, so you don't have to deal with the separate ammo rounds. And well, this is, I would say, a double-edged sword because some others preferred not to fill all of the ammo racks just to show that some of them were actually used in the battlefield. Well, here you won't be able to do this. And also we have the turret with all the hatches molded separately, which is really great because you can also use it for the figurines placement. And if we zoom in closer, so now you can check all of these parts in a bit zoomed in view. So what is also great is that this main section of the turret is molded as a single piece part, as you can see here, so you don't have to worry about any alignment problems or issues. It's just a matter of installing the bottom and top here. So that's the bottom panel, by the way. And next we continue with the glacis plate, let's say, or actually this is more of the front panel. which is, I would say, the main feature of the Krupp turret, because here it's a plain one, and here you can see those armor stowages, which are molded as a single piece part together with the clamps. In my opinion, such design will be easier to assemble, but as I say, some modders might be not that happy because they won't be able to replicate certain, let's say, versions of the configuration, or certain configurations actually. Next, you can hear I'm opening another plastic bag, so I just need to put the sprue aside and take the next one. It will take some time to open all of the plastic bags, but here, as you can see, we continue with more of the turret elements. So this is actually the main gun section. Also, we have some visors for the, or periscopes for the turret, and those are not clear parts, which is rather surprising. That's why I'm a bit confused, because I was expecting to see the clear periscopes, but I guess here manufacturer decided to go this way because anyway you can replicate it with help of the paint and also the gloss lacquer. I usually use this method with the small scales, so I guess that will be the way here as well. And well, I think it might be okay because the size of those parts is not that huge. And just to show you again those parts closer, so we zoom in and now you can take a closer look. So again, a lot of small parts. Be careful with this because it might be easy to break them, and then it will be really tricky to get them fixed. And of course there are no spare parts whatsoever, so don't even think about it. Next we continue with another plastic sprue. It's a sprue K. Here we have additional turret parts, and I guess I should zoom in a bit, so now you should be able to see. We have some parts for the, I can see the gunner, also commander seats here, which are molded as a single piece parts. You'll have to be extra careful with this, but the attachment points are quite thin, so if I zoom in here, you can see that they are not taking a lot of space on the parts. Sometimes they get onto the surface, so you have to be careful while separating the parts, but that's pretty much all. And by the way, here you can see that the level of pre-molded details is really cool, and with some careful painting and weathering you can get a nice result. By the way, the hull parts, they're packed into separate plastic bag just like that, so that's what I'm going to open right now. But straight away I can say it's really cool that they molded the top and bottom section of the hull as a single piece part, so you don't have to deal with the separate panels. And of course it will speed up the assembly process, that's the first advantage, and also give you the right alignment, that's the second advantage, let's say. So here you can see the top section of the hull. We have the glacis plate in place. Only thing which you have to add is the rear armor wall. As you can see, the engine compartment covers are molded in, but we have this main section molded separately, so you can open it and expose the engine. And if we flip it over, here inside we do not get a lot of features. What is even more surprising is that we have these small plastic stabs here and there, which is of course you will have to delete this stuff because it should not be here, and there are not that many features on the walls of this hull part, which is well, not something what I expected. And the same can be seen on this lower hull section. So first of all, it is molded together with the suspension arms. That's cool, but it also means that you won't be able to adjust it if you need to use the tank in some diorama scene. Again, the rear firewall is molded separately, and here inside we have some minor features, some guiding elements, but that's pretty much all we get here. So yeah, I was expecting, to be honest, a bit more. But this small plastic stabs is also something what is what looks a bit weird, but that's also something what we usually see in Tacom kits. So that's why for some modders it will not be surprising. And here we continue with another plastic sprue. So this one is dedicated to the engine compartment. Here you can see the drivetrain parts. It means the engine itself. Also some parts for the piping on the engine, and I can see that it will be quite detailed even without the P parts added. So if I zoom in back here, so you can see a lot of pre-molded features, and maybe it would be a good idea to add some wiring as well. If you have some reference material which you can follow, then definitely do so, especially if you plan to expose the engine. And I think it's a must do, let's say, on such kit, because otherwise why would you get the interior kit and then just close the engine inside? I know some modders who actually do this, but in my opinion this is really weird, I would say, thing to do. You just spend extra money in order to hide the main feature, so definitely not a great choice to have with your model. Next we continue with another plastic sprue. I was opening the back for it. So here we have the rear wall, we have the glacis plate, additional one, and also here we have the side skirts, which are molded as a single piece part. So I know some modders will be trying to sand them down because the thickness can be even thinner, but it's already your decision, because here you will have to be careful while sanding those parts. And if I flip it over, here we have also some guiding elements so that you can place them properly in, I would say, in alignment with the hull parts. So definitely pay attention. And again, we have those plastic stubs. I don't know what is the deal with those plastic stubs and this brand, because, well, the parts look nice, but we still get those plastic stubs which could be easily removed. Okay, next we continue with another plastic sprue, and here again I should repeat myself that those plastic stubs are easy to remove by ourselves as well, but, well, usually we see them cut off on the plastic parts out of the box. Next we continue with another sprue. So here we have more of the interior parts for the fighting compartment and also driver compartment. Everything looks nice. We have also some suspension parts, so let's zoom in. Here you can see them, and again their size is not that huge. Here is comparison with my fingertips, so keep it in mind, because some modders might say that it's like doable with their eyesight, but in reality this kit even in 1/48 scale might be demanding for your eyesight and skills. Well, eyesight might be blocking your skills as well, so that's why keep it in mind when you'll be planning to assemble this model. Next, I see something interesting in the next plastic bag, so let's remove this one and open the next one. Okay, so here we have the plastic sprue with the hull parts. So those, I guess, the interior walls which will be inserted separately. That's why the hull parts were so plain, because they have the features molded separately. Here we have also the floor panel with all of the torsion bars in the middle. Again, quite an interesting design, because here you won't have to waste your time with the separate parts. You get them as a single piece element, and they are aligned in a proper way, especially considering the fact that we don't have the movable suspension. It's good to see that manufacturer decided not to overcomplicate the design and provide it as a separate piece or single piece part. Next we continue also with some parts for the engine compartment, so I guess those are the walls for it. Here we continue with the rear wall and also some bulkheads which will be installed here and there. Quite an interesting design. Frankly speaking, I was not expecting this, or maybe I forgot about such, let's say, possibility to have them as a separate parts. And now I'm opening the last plastic bag with two gray plastic sprues. So as you can guess, we get here the drivetrain parts for road wheels and also tracks. So for the tracks, I'm quite happy to see that we have the track lengths. We have only the separate track links for the areas which will be curved, and this is, I would say, somewhat useful design, because it will also make the whole assembly process a bit easier. So definitely a good thing in my opinion, especially in this scale. And also here you can see the exhaust, the road wheels. As you remember, the road wheels are metal here, so you don't have to use any masks. And here you can see also the track details. And drive sprocket, by the way, should be assembled out of several parts. Note that we have attachment points in between the teeth, so you will have to be careful while separating it. And here you can check those parts from the opposite side. So overall it looks fine for this size, and with some careful painting and weathering it should look really good. Next we continue with the assembly manual. So we have it packed together with decals and yes, PE thread as well. But PE thread is used only for the meshes here, so for nothing else. And I will just take out all of these parts and we will take them together. I'm just trying to understand whether there are some extras as well, but as far as you can see, none. Okay, so let's start with the PE thread. So this is unpainted PE fret. Maybe I'll zoom in so that you can see it closer. Let's remove this plastic frame. Okay, so PE fret, unpainted PE fret. Here we have various meshes for the engine compartment, as I said before. They're quite nice, and of course it's a welcome feature because, well, you cannot replicate this thing with the plastic molding, and I think it's undebatable that PE parts are really good. Next we continue with the small errata, I guess, how to assemble the drive sprocket, or actually this is idler. Next we continue with the decals, which carry the main symbols. So here it's a small plastic bag. It's not written where they are printed, but we have all necessary decals. And of course you can also try to replicate it with your own hands and tools, because I know some modders actually do this with the masks. So in case you are brave enough, then feel free to do so, because it will give you a bit more convincing paintwork as well. Next we have also decals for the Zimmerit, and here, well, I'm not actually sure if it is the proper way to replicate the Zimmerit, because as you can see we have the precise length which will be applied, for example, here on the turret, but if I move them like this, you can see that there is no surface on that, they're just plain, and we all know that the Zimmerit should be a rough surface. So I'm not sure if some modders will be happy to see that. In my opinion, well, for me it will be enough for out-of-the-box build, but for something more sophisticated, definitely Zimmerit is going out, and you will be replicating it with the putty. Next we continue with another Zimmerit length. So those are the, let's say, decals for the main hull. And again, it looks nice, we have all the necessary cutouts, but again, it's not that I would say rough surface, so definitely not that convincing as it could be. And last but not the least is the assembly manual. So here I will close the lenses a bit, zoom out, and as you can see it is printed as horizontal brochure. So here first of all we start with the decals application guide. We also have the list of the recommended tools. Next we start the assembly process. So it's interesting that everything here, actually this is not assembly process, this is the painting scheme for the interior, and then we have also the painting scheme for the engine and turret, and here we have the Zimmerit decals application. So really unusual sequence of the steps. Here you can see also the parts map, and then only then we start the assembly process with the lower hull section. So it's quite an easy thing to do thanks to this one-piece parts, but of course the suspension, the road wheels, it will take some time. Next we continue with the internal structure assembly, and I can see that there are some minor parts, but again maybe some wiring can be copied as well. Here we have also the tracks installation. Next we continue with more of the internal walls getting in place. Engine assembly here, that's actually the gearbox. And next, here we assemble the engine, which is installed inside as well. Next we continue with the fighting compartment assembly. So as you can see, again, some parts are getting inside, and it will be quite a tight, I would say, structure. So definitely plan in advance how you paint all of this stuff, because later it will be really difficult to get to this part, so it's better to install them pre-painted. At least that's what I usually do with such interior kits. Next we continue with the hull assembly. So here we install all of these meshes for the engine compartment. Note that manufacturer does not show the possibility to open this separate hatch, so you have to think yourself how to open it and expose the engine. Next we continue with the side skirts getting installed on the main hull, or the top hull section actually. Here we also install the machine gun, and then also the separate hatches. It's interesting that all the hatches are shown in the closed position, and I wonder why manufacturer did not bother to show you that you can actually open them, because they're molded as a separate part. Here we continue with the exhaust pipes, then we install all of this stuff onto the main hull, actually onto the lower section, and here we have the turret assembly. So turret assembly goes on for several steps, because we have to install the internal elements as well. As you can see, it will be quite an interesting composition as well, and again you have to plan the painting in advance. Here we assemble the main gun, and then we install more of the P parts onto the hull and also assemble the main gun. Maybe main gun might be the area where you can upgrade it with the help of metal part, but it will be up to you if you would like to spend extra money. So here we have the pair of marking options which are in the standard package. As I said, this is the classic German camouflage, so nothing special. Here we continue with the third one and also some other kits from the same brand. And yeah, and that's all, I guess. Yeah. So overall, we have quite an impressive kit for a 1/48 scale, and in my opinion, it's really great to see manufacturers releasing more and more in this 1/48 scale, because not everyone has the space for King Tiger in 1/35 scale. Of course, I'll be happy to hear your opinion about such release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. And if you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.